Hello everyone, Simp is here. Welcome back to my chess speedrun series. Today's goal is to climb from 1653 to 1675, and without any further ado, let's get into today's content. First game is a beginner 1200 rapid from Italy. As usual, e4, duck on e5. Knight c6. Aha. He makes it seem like he doesn't block my bishop, but actually he does, because none of these squares are particularly useful for my bishop. I'll develop my knight instead. Maybe this guy is actually not a real beginner, the way he is playing is unusually suspicious. Knight f6. He blocks away the c3 square so my knight cannot go out and defend my pawn. I have to push the pawn instead. Knight g5, and he even blocks away my h-pawn so I cannot attack his knight. But I never wanted to attack his knight. e6. Bishop d3. And I think I've just missed a free knight. Oh my god, I'm so bad at this game. Ha! Never mind. h3, the duck blocks the only safe square from the knight. His knight is trapped. A desperado. D takes e5. Knights are actually very strong in this variant, they are very duck-proof, so winning a free knight is actually a huge advantage for me. Castle. I'll develop another bishop. a5. It seems like he is starting to make moves on the other side. Knight d2, I'll move the duck to that side as well. And as soon as I removed the duck he pushed a center pawn. I shouldn't have done that, but it's alright. a4, duck on d7. Knight b4. Knight b3. Knight takes d3. Queen takes d3. Trading a knight with a bishop should be good for me though, that was actually very convenient. He opens the center. I don't want a queen trade yet. Bishop takes e5, duck on d6. f6. Now I can take his queen. Take with the rook please. Thank you. Free pawn. Rook back to f8. Another pawn. b6. Another pawn. Okay, I mean this is like way too much advantage already, but this guy just refuses to resign, so unfortunately we had to maneuver back and forth for the next 20 moves. I'm sorry I cannot edit that many moves. The game is a win. We gained 5 elo from that. Second game. This second game is also a beginner, but after e4 e5 knight f3 knight c6 knight c3 knight f6 knight d5 that blunders a pawn. He abandoned the game just because of a pawn. Probably the biggest coward I have ever seen. Third game. Chess.com finally decided to give me an experienced opponent, who happens to be an 1800 rapid guy. He has been playing chess for over 16 years, with over 42,000 games. This is probably the highest status opponent I have ever faced in my entire life. My speed run will probably going to end right here. b3. Not very aggressive. d5, duck on b2. Well, I mean b3 was obviously to
fianchetto
the bishop. I mean what else can it be anyway? So duck on b2 is literally a no-brainer move. e4. Free pawn. I mean he can develop his light bishop though, that may be a bit annoying, but one duck can only block one bishop. Cannot ask for more. Bishop c4. e5. We have a pretty big center though. Queen h5. Aha. That forced 2 of my pawns, and he even used the duck to block my only legit way of defending both of them. Absolutely genius. I wonder how many people have fallen for this strat. But unfortunately, it doesn't work against me. Knight c6. Duck on g6. He can still take with his bishop, but then he has to move the duck to another square. which allows my king to take his bishop and then reallocate the duck back to g6. Everything is calculated. Bishop a3. Knight f6. He took the pawn. Of course I will do as planned. f5. Free queen. Okay, now I'm not sure anymore. How can a guy playing chess for over 16 years choose to play the scholar's mate and then blunder his queen like that? This guy is definitely drunk. Take knight out, bishop out. Castle with check. Knight block. That was actually a wrong move from me. I should have taken his knight and block his rook with the duck. But it's alright. Mistakes happen. I'm still up a queen. Nothing to worry about. d4. En passant. Knight f4. dc2. Knight c3. Queen d4 check. King h1. I'll take this knight. Knight d4. And of course he also blunders the other one. Bishop takes f8. Queen takes f1 check. Bishop takes g7. Very aggressive. Not very aggressive. Still not 1675 yet. Fourth game. They gave me another beginner. It's pretty sad that chess.com decides to destroy these people by pairing them with me being over 100 elo higher than them. h4. e5. f3. This is probably going to end very quickly. Queen takes h4. Duck on h2. I'm leaving h3 for him to go knight h3, thinking that he can actually use that knight to block the check and the attack on his rook. Absolutely. Queen to g3 check, but use the duck to block my own check. According to the rules, now my opponent has to move the duck to another square, which means I am guaranteed to capture his king next move, which means this is actually a checkmate. Still not there yet. Fifth game. They paired me with the same guy again. We only swapped the pieces. e4, duck on e5. e6. d4. Of course he can still move his queen. I'm not scared of his queen. h6. g3, duck on f6. His queen is actually trapped. I mean, he can still move to, for example, h5 and block my queen from taking his queen. But since I have already played with this guy last game and know very clear he is not very experienced with the variant, he probably won't be able to see such a tactic. Definitely. Free woman. H takes g5. I'll try the same thing as last game, queen h5, duck on h6. It's actually very difficult to get out of this scenario though, because just like normal chess, his queen is dead, my queen is strong. g6. That blunders a rook. This is a wrong move though. I should have put the duck on e7 to take away that square from his knight. Too much advantage, so I didn't pay much attention to the game. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Free horsey. Resignation. Plus 4.3, checkpoint is reached. I have been winning 15 games in a row. No losses. Therefore, duck chess speedrun, 1500% win rate.